welcome back to my channel. This is a casual playthrough of Night in the Woods. I'm gonna switch my TV, my chat over to this side. And then this over here. I hate that when you alt-tab, the sound goes away, but it is what it is. So say hello to the octopus on the microphone. Okay. I don't even know where I am right now. Happy Halloween! You feeling spooky? I said I wasn't going to read this out loud, but you know, I might read some of it out loud. I like that the text is in orange. It's very Halloween-y. Angus, you're just smiling. It's adorable, not scary. Oh, poor Angus. I'm ready for Halloween. I don't care that it's August. What holidays are in August? And Labor Day doesn't count. And that's September anyway. Oh, come on, I can't jump on the counter. Oh, that's it. I can only talk to him in the store. Okay. Cool. I don't remember where anything is. Do I have a map in this game? Not keyboard map. Possibilities. Thank you for 28 wonderful years, Blossom Strings. Love, Sal, and Jan. I really like jumping on things and making noises with them. That's the tunnels of love. Is this where? No, B word. Where's B word? I don't remember. Okay, that's Greg. I like you, Greg, but I want to find B more. It's like just hung out with Greg yesterday. I can't go in here. There's something interactable. How did that arm get here? So I'm just running down the street. Whoops, my arm fell off. I'll just come back for that later. Am I blind? Or is the arm just... No one can survive their arm just falling off. Well, not bad. Like, yeah. Is it still called assault if you chop an arm off? I would think so. Seems like it should be a different word. Ah, arm choppy. You're under arrest for arm choppy. Whoever's arm that is was probably dead. Where is there an arm? Am I just not seeing it, or are they not showing it? Where is my bee friend? Where is she? Where is B? Heart of the hometown since 1972. I love running through the leaves. It's like a screensaver. Like those old school screensavers. Remember when we used to watch the DVD logo hit all the corners of the screen? Those are the days. Where are we going? Okay, I'm just leaving town, I guess. Hello? Hey, Germ. Hey, May. I'm Scams. Is it Scams? That's Jenna. Hi. I'm Bill Don. And I'm Jern. I'm May. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Yeah. Jern, you coming to Harfest? Oh, I want a fall festival so bad. In real life. I need to get my keyboard closer to me. I would recommend playing this on something with a console, as in, and by console I mean controller. Playing this with a controller. That's what I meant. But I can't use my words like a normal person. But I don't know where my Xbox is that connects it here. My spouse may have stolen it. Y'all got ghosts here for real, right? What? Yeah, man, local legend. My man Tapeworm? He never got off in this town because of the ghost. That's a load of crap. He sneaks into rail yards and snatches up the good and the pure. You kids got nothing to fear then. Damn, old timer, we're pure as the air. See you, little lady. Up, up. See ya, Germ. See ya. Spooky. Where are we going? Oh, okay. That's as far as I can go. Beatrice. That was cute. Someday we'll find her. The Rainbow Connection. Click, clack, diner. All the boarded up places. Ooh, I scared the bird. I can talk to these people though. You going to Harvest? Nah, I'm gonna watch the game. I was gonna watch my fave highlights. No. No. Why would you leave the house? No. Nah, never. Aw. Go Smelters. This is where she works, I think. No, this is where Angus is. Where the heck is B? Unless she's not at work and Angus also works. I don't remember. This is the problem with playing a game over multiple years. Don't do that. I'm the Gandalf meme if I have no memory of this place. I basically remember going to the mall and doing shenanigans with B and going to the party and getting drunk and saying shitty things. Who dat? Rip. Oh, we already talked. Okay, can't go here. Where are we going? Yeah, we're gonna talk to them. I talked to them yesterday, I believe. Not going through the train station. The church? What's in the church? Love, peace. Oh, I can't jump on the pews. Joy. Oh, okay. We came here once with Mom, right? Is that what I'm remembering? I wonder why it lets me go in if I can't do anything. Wait, can I go beyond the doors? Ah. I'm busy. Yeah, Mom and I got into a fight. So she's mad at me. Oh. Can't go in here. Come on, Mom. Love me. Nope. That's all, folks. Okay. Just the group chat. Stop. Howdy. You waiting for someone? And being stood up. Oh no. A date? Not the kind you mean. Big part of my job is someone calling me. You know, them not showing up. I mean, statue of Saint Rubello. Oh, I have a hiccup. Burp. The fire breathing guy. Who ate people. That's a bit of an oversimplification, but yeah, basically. Cool guy to have a statue of outside the church. Does they breathe fire? Sure. Said she's part of our Encourage Criminal Acts outreach. It's working. Has the situation. Bruce. It's kind of in my job description. If you want to talk about God. Okay. I'm good. Oh, I can't jump on the rock. Who dat? Oh, Harfest is tonight. Should say hi if you're there. I'll be there. Do you guys think I should do sound bath stuff on stream? I'm just gonna do like a little mini video anyway. I hit the wrong button and I'm getting pain in my hand. Hello. Hey, traveler from distant lands, you have journeyed far and it has brought you here to us. Actually, I walked like 15 minutes from my house. Man, imagine walkable cities. What's that like? Walker, far from home, we will tell of your future. Be truthful. Tell us. A shipwreck, a ghost on a hill, an arrow broken. You're all like 14-year-old gods. Why am I answering this? False. You have failed. We cannot help you. Should I have answered something else? Fun is all we have. Do you practice that talking and nerd thing? You're not gonna narc us to the pastor, right? Ooh, you're not in youth group like you should be. 3 weird teens I met. I need to art journal more. I'm just gonna jump off the edge. Bye. Game's over. It got really dark. I still haven't found my friend. Maybe I do need to go through the tunnels. The tunnels. Or maybe I only can see Greg now because I hung out with him. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm gonna blow when the volcano blows. I said volcano. I'm going to them now! But right now, I'm having fun jumping on things. Now we'll go to the tunnels. It would help if I hit the right button. Ooh. I want a pierogi platter. That sounds delicious, especially for $4.99. Prices back then. Delicious pretzels. But are they Wetzel's pretzels? I can't jump on the table. Hello? Where is everybody? May understood 100% of that. Just remind himself that that doesn't go anywhere, but it could because gamer logic. Oh, Dad finally unlocked the... Not unlocked, but took the boxes out of the storage space with the crawl space, whatever that room is. Okay, I think I have to go talk to Greg. There's nothing else I can do unless I just go home. Hey, man. Oh, yay, I have a gig September 6th. Woo! Now I'm nervous. How far? Wait, how far? How long till September 6th? Not the... Didn't mean to open the group chat. Ooh, crystal rings. Ooh. Oh, I think one of them's adjustable too. Those are pretty. Oh. One of them is moldavite. I was gonna look at my calendar. 1, 2, 3 Fridays from now. So not next week, not the week after, but the week after that. And then that's the week before my birthday. Harfest Rush. Oh, yeah. You missed it. The horror. Oh. I done got horrored. Oof. Being horrid at work is the worst. You've never mentioned having a job. That's a story for another time. You're here now and I'm here now. It's a lovely day. Oh. Why are we smashing light bulbs? Hell yeah, dude. Okay. Nice. Boom. I did okay shooting the dummy, the decoy. Aye, you fucker. Jeez, May. Rude. I don't even have time to react to that. You should try hitting it with the bat. You should try sucking my dick. Bam. Bubble-am. Hey, there's a Pokemon in chat. If you have that mini game enabled, it's down below. If you don't have that mini game. So what's up? Nothing. Cool. Great talk. I guess we go home now. Have you gone through windows and met people on the roofs yet? Gone through windows? I think not. But TBH, past Illyria could have done anything. It's a fun part of the game to explore. It sounds like something I would have done. Excuse me. Secret quest. How do you know how to go through windows? See, that looks like I should be able to jump up there. Aha! See? Like I said, it looks like I should be able to jump up there. Haven't been up here. Hey. Weather station. Pioneer Scouts made them when they weren't playing football. The manliest of miniature windmills for sure. Sorry, bird. Squish. Sorry, that was animal abuse. Can I jump on that? No. I mean, it looks like I should be able to, but... Alas, alack. No, I don't want to kill a kid. Window in the layer below the trash cart. Well, how do you get there? Like this. Nope. Yeah, I fucked that up, but it's okay. I'll go back. Oh, come on. Oh, yes, I can go over here. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'll go back to it. I promise. Eventually. See, now I wish I had my controller. But I genuinely don't know where it is. Oh. There. Durr. Oh, cute. I'm breaking and entering. I'm a criminal. Hello? Spring parade, it was so much fun. Until the year that Mallard P. Blooming Grow snapped his tether and ran over Chris Evans. What? Mallard needed to be free. Neither ropes nor the poor legs of Chris Evans could hold him back. I wonder what happened to both of them. After the parade got canned, there wasn't much going on in the spring. But we still did the Easter basket at church. Ooh, pretzels. We didn't bless those. Profane pretzels. That's a good band name. These flowers are fake as hell. Cute. Oh my god. Mallard! What have they done to you? Nice! We love a psych appointment. Mallard, you're pregnant! Oh no! Who's the cutest vermin? Who's the best vermin? You are. Oh, you're so hungry. So I'm not doing anything? Oh. Poor babies. Okay, how do I leave? That's how I leave. Delicious pretzels. This is a tomb. This is Mallard's tomb. Mallard, dear dead Mallard. I remember liking parades as a kid and thinking they were the coolest thing. Especially in the house that I spent my childhood in. I could see one of the parades from one of the upstairs bedrooms. I could see the down the street. But I found you and I know you're here. I'll keep you a secret, but I'll visit. A little wave. It's locked. What the hell? That's a fire hazard. Seriously, is this thing is clearly marked as something it is not. Coming back for you, exit door. We're gonna have a little chat with my boot. Use pretzels from the subway. Okay, I need help getting the pretzels. Unless I can only get them now that I've activated this. You feed them every day. Oh man, what if I don't feed them every day? Keith Urban announced he will perform in the parking lot of the Buc-ee's in Athens at 8 p.m. today. What? I'm gonna send that to husband. That's it, yes, because you've activated it. Cool. Gamer Logic. Place and time. Husband. LMAO. Maybe that added to it. JK. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba. And then you died. Let's get some prep. Wait, we have to look at the post. Or whatever that is. Yeah. I can move this. Oh, but it's so cute. Oh, I can move all sorts of things. Casey Hartley, 19. Wearing black hooded sweatshirt. I don't remember what I've seen before in this, so all of it is new to me. Harvestacular. Okay. I'd like some pretzels. I bet some rat babies would love a delicious pretzel. Okay. You're only gonna get one shot at this. Just gotta freeze when he looks over. Even if you're holding a pretzel. Oh, this is like the mall game. You've done this before. You've still got it. Okay, so he warns before he looks. Ah! I'm the bandit queen. Used to be part of the friend group. Went missing. They guess he hopped train. Sad. I should go back that way because that's where I just came from. It was right there. So how many times have you played this? Or watched, I guess. I want to know your backstory because I don't remember. I need to go back around to get back up. Pew pew. Sorry, Mr. Squirrel. Bunch more than I watched it, probably over 5. Oh, wow. Goat lung. Shoebird. Who shut this? Or did I shut it behind myself, I guess, to be more sneaky sneak? But over 5 is a lot. Come on, Miracle Rats, time to eat. Oh, they're so cute. Lawrence. Guess I'm your mom now. Don't know if I'm ready to be a mom. You're not my real mom. Okay, I can't interact with that yet. How many storylines, or like, no storylines, but like endings, I guess, are there? endings, I guess. Or variations? I guess there's... I don't know. One ending with a couple special events depending on 2 routes. Cool. So the same main storyline happens no matter what. And then you can have different focuses. I thought I saw something in the corner of my eye. Decorations. You can't mess around on Halloween. Sure, we'll hear your poem. Bats and moon against the gloom. The night is black. I made a snack. I microwaved pizza I'd saved. The pizza cold is breakfast gold. Excuse me. Staying here for trick-or-treaters. Storyline, no matter what, but me grows this person more around B. That makes sense. Oh my god. You're dumb. Bitch. Jumping in the mailboxes is one of my favorites. Oh. Oh, come on. I can't get any higher than that. Ho ho ho. Yes, I can. Wait. Don't go right to the pickaxe at Harfest. Okay. When the flood happened that one year, this pole fell over. Explore the event first. Okay. After the flood, it laid in our yard for 2 weeks, like a big dead thing. Put it back up. I can see it from my window at night. It feels spooky. Spooky full undead friend watching me from the curb. Have you gone out past the diner? Probably. I don't remember though. I don't remember anything that I've done. Oh, I can use this button too. Nobody's home. Bless this mess. That was a cute show. Definitely grown quite a bit since then. A little bit taller, regular a bit wider. Granddad said I was sturdy. Screw it, I am sturdy. Making friends with Germ is great. Oh yeah, I just saw Germ. Copyright. Oh, that's right, the safe. Do 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 do. The bookshelf by Mom's room has the important stuff. Stream loots, what? That was weird. I turned off stream loots. Bookshelf's like the ghost of Granddad, hanging out in the corner. Maybe not his ghost, like his skeleton. Left 45, right? Do I need to write that down? By write it down, I mean take a picture of it. $4,500, 22, 90, 50. Yeah, I can't memorize that. What is this? Oh, it's gonna be my notebook. Code to that. Yes, I can deduce that that's what that's for. Also, is it really an attic if it's not the top floor? I mean, it's... Okay, actually, it's a crawl space. I live in the attic. This isn't the attic. What the hell? It's an old Ew! Ew. F the caps. Crawl space connected to the attic on a house in the house. Probably against the ground, probably. Yeah. Germ? How the hell do you draw a space dragon? Oh, the arm was on the sidewalk. Gregory's pizza scale. Pizza. I got groceries. I should actually cook dinner. But man, pizza on a Friday night is good. Except when it hurts my tummy. I guess what I'll probably do is nap and then cook dinner, or I'll put something in a crock pot and then nap. Let's check the pooter. See if B is around. Oh, nobody's around. Cool. So I guess I have to just go to Harfest. Wait, no, go back. No, I want to look in the mirror. I moved too quickly. Aw, yeah, normal clothes. Time to get spooky. Oh, well, that was cute. Sweet. Witch dagger. We're dressing up for Harfest. We're so cute. Okay, just checking. I don't want to practice the guitar right now. And by guitar, I mean the bass. There was a stage at Buc-ee's, apparently. So he really is just performing in the parking lot of Buc-ee's? Parking lot? I have so many questions. Hello? They must already be out. Harfest. Why is Keith Urban performing in a Buc-ee's in Athens, Alabama? Why to every part of that? I like the journal drawings and they remind me of you, Paige. Oh, I can't jump. So that means I can't walk up there. That's okay. Dare you spin the wheel of destiny? None can explain the power of the wheel. The sooth shall be said. Is your arm injured? It's a little sore lately, actually. I could tell. I see all. Your fortune is your future, a place you will soon be, forever. That checks out. You shall live. Oh, good. Until the last you die. Oh, wait, that was gonna happen anyway. The cards do not lie. The wheel that chooses the card is unknowable. Unknowable truth. You have learned much, child. I'm 20. Well, that was interesting. May the wheel ever spin in your favor. We need to make a Harfest for our city. Oh, Splashing and Fortune. I could have read those before I went in. Hold up. Colleen, how do I get into this thing? God damn it. Okay, we're fine. Welcome to Harfest Spectacular Water Balloon tossed. I can't. I have hiccups and burps. We're gonna figure it out pretty quick. Let's go. Oh. Woo, you hit the spooky ghost. I'm a scary spirit. Gonna haunt you for that. I'm extremely cold and wet. Ah! Oh, I'm dead again. Oh no, you've hit the evil witch. Ah, which way will I go? Ah, I'm gonna hex you up. Ah! Okay, this would be so fun in real life. No, you witch. Ah, heck. I'm melted. I'm running away. Fuck. He moves too fast. Oops, I'm the pumpkin. Yeah. Okay, come back. Ouch, that one hurt me, the pumpkin. I'm freezing now. The pumpkin is freezing. I'm going to run away now. I'm the pumpkin. Fudge. You don't care. Unless I have to get you in the face. Rattle, rattle, I'm a skeleton. Ah! I'm bad at this. Oh, they're all here. That sure was something. On behalf of the Possum Springs Town Council, support local! More like Awesome Springs. Okay, we're done. Oh, the band is playing. Market house. That's my girl. What you up to? Seriously? We're putting on this year's Harvest pageant. Oh, right, okay. Live from the old pickaxe. When's this thing supposed to start? 10 minutes, I think? You think? This is a nightmare. Why did I ever agree to this? Chamber of Commerce owes me big for this. Here's the thing. You won't have any lines. What? I've had like 3 no-shows. Why? Oh no. B, please. It's a fun part. B. I'll totally save your ass. I might have this memorized from when I was a kid. Oh, we're getting roped in. Ooh. The bad remake that doesn't respect the source material. Oh, great. Great. Please don't wing it. Okay. I didn't see you there. Be ye ghosts? Are ye here to hear the tale? How Possum Springs came to be? Through the mists of time I see. Weary, can't speak. Fur trappers from 1793. Brother John. Yes, Brother Stephen. I spy a deep hollow. A dead tree. A spring. Blessed are we, Brother Stephen, for my throat is truly parched. I misread that, but that's fine. 300 beaver pelts. Please Please help. What? Okay. I must have food to restore my youthful form, for I was once a comely lass. So I have to actually make it sound better. Haggard witch! Horrible to look upon! Cruel young man, ye did not even offer one of thy 300 fine beaver pelts to warm my ancient bones. And this very night ye shall perish. Yes, that's how I laugh at the theater. I did not venture these hills to joust words with a hell hag. Was born among these trees neath a harvest moon, and ye shall die under that moon. Brother John, I am frightened. Faith, Brother Stephen, art thou so easily shaken by the ramblings of an old crone? Come help me carry these 300 beaver pelts. But little did anyone know that the witch did not curse in vain. Help! Who will help a poor traveler? By the moon and stars above us, sir, I beseech thee, what is thy trouble? You're in this? Yep. Ah, witch! Yep. Me. I swear thee, friend, that this very day, this horrifying crone did curse my brother and I to die. We camped by this very spring beneath the dead tree. Sorry, my brain just stopped. Okay. Oh, it chilleth the heart. Yee-hee-hee-hee. I did curse this spring that any man who drinketh from it shall perish. I am slain. I join thee now, Brother Stephen. The trapdoor. Oh my gosh. I am also undone, for I have drank of the water. Don't leave me here, Greg. Bye. Yet even there, the curse's lust for blood would not be sated. Dear, 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 dear. Gaze upon these spirits. Brother, we are now ghosts. Ah! Who die here, cursed to never leave. Doth that witch know what she hath done? Yeah, she does. Crap. It's my worst nightmare. For each man is determined on his path, and each path leads only to his end. Okay. And yet each path may lead to places unknown. You, from the bus station, young witch, 'tis I, the god of the forest. I didn't expect you. Ain't that the way? Thou hast tarried too long in this world. I banish thee to wander in the night to the stranger places. God, how did you know? Let me speak wisdom to you. We begin and we end at night in the woods. That's not the whole of the story. This is your line. Forest god, thou hast no power here. Thy end beginneth. Ah, my infernal powers! Shh, young witch, even now the world you know endeth. Who can say what lieth in the world to come? What happens if you, try to mess up the play the whole time? Does it affect it that badly? Or does B just get annoyed with you? There are ghosts. Woo! Excuse me. Oh, my ear popped. Also, how far am I in the game? Oh, you're right. I didn't change my game. Thank you. I should do that. Gives you sillier options for messing with it. I don't remember how to change it from OBS, so we're just gonna change it from the Twitch website. Edit. Night in the woods. Night in the woods. Gives you sillier options. Nice. Okay. And so was founded then this festival. On Halloween we shall celebrate the dying of the year, the founding of Possum Springs. I, Mayor Ghost, decree it. The beaver population suffered a decline, and now our biggest exports are corn and pumpkins. We used to be the county seat. Now leave before I curse you all. Oh no, audience. And that's our show. Who knows what may lurk in the darkness? Be sure to pick up a flyer on your way out. Support your spooky local businesses. Or business. Oh. It stayed minor. Geez, thanks, guys. I'm never doing that again. I'm going home. Aw, they're gonna have a cute date. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be there, May. What are you doing, Bee? Buffet by Camp Panther. Business stuff. Both those things can be true. Can I come? Nope. Okay, well, good night. Night. I can't hang out with either of my friends. Just sad. This is garbage. Who's hanging out there? Is that real? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Murder. I mean, hopefully not murder and hopefully just kidnapping, but like also not good. Help? I need an adult. I just saw a catnapping. What kind of heckin' game is this? May, go home. He stole some kid? He looks like a ghost. A ghost, huh? You shouldn't be out here doing whatever it is you're doing. Listen, you're a cop. You're not going to do anything useful. Oh my goodness. I need to stop yawning. Ouchies. I'm scared. Oh, I don't like when I can't jump. I'm scared. Honey's making biscuits on my leg. Oh, you should post pictures of her in the Discord so we can all go, oh my god. Not that you have to. It's not a real should. I mean, you have to. Yeah. Hello? Kate, is this secretly a horror game? Did you mess with me? Did you deceive me and keep a big dark secret from me? This sweet charming game? Post pics after Okay. Part 3, the long fall. How many parts are there? spooky elements because of coming age story about a ghost. Okay. We'll let May sleep a little bit more. Wow. Some people just have their lives together, but then I realize it's probably because they're neurotypical and like type A. Like my friend sent me a picture of jars with herbs, and every jar is labeled with what's in it and all the healing purposes for tinctures and stuff. Okay, no more dreams. Got to chat with my friends. Thanks so much for your help last night. Realized I completely imposed in a big way. You're fine. I'll be at work cleaning up after last night if you want to say hello. Sorry I couldn't hang last night. Angus says he's starting 2 band practice today. Oh no, I'm gonna suck at it. I always feel like everyone has their shit together more than me. I also always feel like people have their shit together more than me. Like, how are we in our 30s? Who let that happen? And also, how do I not have more things put together by this point? My life should be together, right? I guess I don't need to go in there now. Oh, bird. You're just like the same every day? What is your bird existence like? I don't think I need to go in here again. Yeah. Oh, remind me to feed the rat children. What on earth? The new working clock downstairs thinks this clock is scary. Down we go. Hey, hon. Yeah? Come say hello, why don't ya? Okay. What if I just left? And didn't say hi? Hey, hon. Hey, mom. You look tired, so do you. The weather seems to agree with you. Gray and drizzly. Yeah? Sorry about you. Yeah, we had a fight yesterday. I said some stuff, I didn't really mean it. Whether you meant it or not, that isn't how we should communicate. I don't want to... Oh! Oh, want to talk about it? Later, I'm still like putting it together. Talk about school, also later. What are you stressed about? Well, I guess you're grown up now. Just spill it, Mom. After your incident a few years back, as you know, we went to some debts, smoothing that over. I'm still so sorry about that. It's in the past. Let's not go back over it. We took advantage of a kind of mortgage to make sure you were taken care of. Turns out it wasn't a very good deal. Yep. It's predatory. Now they own the house and we owe them more than it's worth. What does that mean? It means we're not sure how long into the future we'll have the house. We're in trouble, huh? And I'm a huge jerk. It's okay, don't worry. What you reading? Book of Unsolvable Murders. No! I like my murder mysteries to be solved. There's a man lying dead in the kitchen with a bullet wound in his head. There's a man there with him. He's got some blood on his right hand, but no gun. Last thing, the dead guy has a scar on the back of his head. Well, I don't know if there's one answer. It supposed to get you thinking. Oh my gosh. Oh, excuse me. What else is in the room? I think I got it. What you got? The guy in the room is a surgeon. He implanted a magnet in the dead guy's skull. Murder weapons are stuck to the fridge. Holding up a pick of hand. Dottie? Bravo, sweetie. Thank you. Aww. They love each other. Oh, you can't go past... Okay. It just put me at the beginning for some reason. Interesting. Oh, that's the spooky stuff we saw. Bless this mess. I can do it too. Yeah, Mr. Squirrel. Oh, so May wasn't kidding about the weather. There's a Pokemon in chat if you want to catch it. Yeah, you have to look at the About section to start the Pokemon game. I think it's Command Pokestart. Well, fuck, I'm sorry. You're gonna break your neck someday. I'll make sure to fall right on you. Well, I'm a big enough target. I'm bigger than you. We should be covered. Wow. Great talk. Actually gonna go back and then across the top. See Henderson's house from here. What a ghoul that guy is. He's hated me forever. Hoppity hoppity hop. Hoppity hop hop. I want to be on the roof with you. We're gonna make it happen. Maybe it's not possible. Oh, I got a shiver. Oh, I didn't like it. I kept going. Okay, here we go. First of all, okay, can't interact with that. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Okay. I keep getting. Y'all, I'm stressing. Oh boy, am I stressing. Hello? Mayborowski. You could have knocked on the door down there. Impolite to be on other people's roofs. Next time I'm gonna call the cops. Whatever. What are you doing anyway? Hunting dusk stars. Holy crap, my eyes. Didn't they mention that the sun was bright? Space is so cool, as Markipliers say. I'm trying to see where there's more interference. Yeah. Star located, Captain. Let's consult the guide. Because they're dead. Gramercy the medium. Life he spoke with the dead? Really? Who knows? When he died, his own spirit returned and spoke through him. Wait, that's dumb. His own spirit possessed his body. It's like literally the same thing as being alive. But he was dead but possessed by himself. Yes. This is dumb. Moral. Sometimes things are just strange. Are there any others? No. I'm good. He's a sneaky boy. Big snake. Yep. Big snake. Big snake. Big snake. Gee willikers. That was pretty great. More in a couple of days. Snake, Gramercy. Big snake. Okie dokie, let's go find our friends. Always looks like the car's gonna run me over. Checking the messages. Oh, I should actually put in the calendar that I got the gig. Fairy tea perform Sabbath. There we go. Let's go get more pretzel for the rats. nothing to see here. Nothing at all. I'm just stretching, man. Nothing happening here. One pretzel is enough for my tiny rat darlings. Hello, May. Pay the little tokens and bills stamped with the company name. Go to the company store for company goods. I guess where they showed us some of those weird quarters and stuff. Your grandfather remembers. Daddy experienced it firsthand. Ooh, I'm in a big fancy car. A real bastard, that boss. God forgive him. Grandfather runs out of the dance. He shouts, "The guts of all bosses!" Oh shit. He slashes the boss's tires. Holy shit, don't stop. He pees through the windshield. Dude. The stories that people have. Oh, okay, wait. When was this? Very long time ago. Was he... So what happened with the car? They weren't snitches. Damn right. You got troublemaker blood. You gonna tell him? No. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'll tell him. I don't know. Nah. I have to make dinner soon. Can't talk much more for today. This was crazy. Let's go feed the rats and I'll probably get off. Bye for now. We have to find my rat babies. I have to go back this way, don't I? Wait. No. I'm getting lost. There should be a map. Okay, I think I go up and then to the left. That sounds correct to me. Yes. Indeed. Yep, there it is. There it be. Hello? Woof, 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 woof. Come on. Let me jump. Thank you. Come on. I like the little bits of paw interaction that you get to do. It is a cute way to feel immersed. Plastic flowers are like super depressing for some reason. Fair. Just don't know how to interact with that yet, but that's okay. Time to eat. Where's your brother? Oh. There's more of you today. Oh no. Does that mean I need to go get more right now? Because I'll do it. I'll do it for the rat babies. Oh my goodness. The things we do for our children. Oh, come on. Oh, okay. Mama don't need to steal today. Well, when you said you need more food, I thought that was an implication that it wasn't enough for the 3 of them. Let's see if anything exciting is here. My mom literally told me no more going out to eat earlier today. She suggested we go out to eat right now. Listen, we all have hopes that we're not going to go out to eat. It's a good goal to not spend money. But sometimes the end of the day comes and you're just like, fuck it. Did I have Taco Bell and Chick-fil-A this week? Don't worry about it. We're gonna miss you. And also, sometimes eating out costs the same as the damn groceries these days. The groceries are so freaking expensive. I haven't decided. Either I'm going to make taco bowls or cracked chicken. Either way, I need to go and cook it soon. But I'm distracted by the game. I likes it. So because husband is out of town all weekend, I'll probably stream and play more though. Hi, B. Hey, B. Thanks again for last night. I owe you one. It's fine. It was fun. May, you need to talk about what you saw. Excuse me. I would love to play by my own rules, but I would be the person that would get in trouble for it. The world plays by his rules. Well, I don't even know what that means. Still, whoa. Are you jealous? Okay. I'll be back. Sorry, not sorry, this is a short stream. But like I said, I'll probably have more time and energy to stream this weekend. But I got to make dinner. But thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for hanging. I'll catch y'all next time. Bye.